my name is Aaron, and today I'd like to talk to you a little about mental health and technology. Specifically, I'd like to look at how increased availability of technology and increased social media usage add to an environment already conducive to mental health issues in millennials. My generation is the first to have grown up without not knowing what the internet was. We've been surrounded by it all our lives and we use it constantly. And when looking at mental health issues, I'd like to start off by saying that this piece is not about cyberbullying. Now, we talk about cyberbullying a lot in society. We complain about it more than the Syracuse University students complain about their new promenade.
Some people have criticized Promenade. They've claimed that it costs too much, or that we listen too little, or that we completely overstepped our administrative boundaries, allocating $6 million on a completely cosmetic addition to the school at a time which Kent Syverud described as fiscal discipline.
Well, I like the promenade. But the point is, we complain about cyberbullying a lot, and that's because we've been raised to be aware about it. I've seen videos about cyberbullying since elementary school. So today, instead of that, I'd like to focus on our day-to-day usage of social media. And let's begin with the smartphones and and laptops and tablets themselves. Everything we use to connect to social media and scroll through the internet produces light. And the light and how much we use it negatively affects our 24-hour circadian rhythms, as found by Dr. Tamar Sochat at MIT recently in a new study. Now, I can hear you thinking,
Aaron, this is not a new thing. We've been watching TV in our bedrooms for ages. You know, it's not a big thing that's new.
Well, it turns out it is, because we're using cell phones more and more and more to stay awake at night. In effect, it is damaging and creating a condition called circadian dysynchrony, by which our melatonin secretion levels are going off irregularly and not matching our natural periods of rest and sleep. While Sochat's field is still developing, the symptoms of circadian dysynchrony are closely matched by shift work sleep disorder, which has been well studied for a while in cases of people whose natural circadian rhythms don't match with their work schedules. For instance, if they work a couple hours into the night or into the early morning. Now, work shift sleep disorder can cause everything from ulcers to depression to other mental health issues. So I'd like you to listen to University of Alabama nursing professor Mary Grace Uloff talk about work shift sleep disorder and its other effects.
And it really can have lots of other effects on your health. Other symptoms that we know about are difficulty focusing. There may be some safety issues, work-related safety issues. There may be some personality changes with irritability. And then, you know, there may be some GI and cardiac problems. So it doesn't just affect, you know, the fact that you may have excessive sleepiness at work. It does have other implications for your health and for your life.
Keep that in mind when you're up at 2 a.m. scrolling through cat videos. Now, since not much research has yet been done on the other physiological effects of social media technology usage, I'd like to look at how we use technology in our daily lives, specifically the content of the social media that we use. To be fair, social media has proven to be a great sharing ground for social discussions on serious issues, such as the Twitter storm following the video surfacing of football star Ray Rice beating his then-fiancée, Janae Palmer. People took to social media to share their own stories of domestic abuse and explain their pain on a personal level. This helped spread awareness of the mental and physical harm that domestic abuse can cause.
Others, like Beverly Gooden, a former victim of domestic violence, fired off tweets listing the many reasons it took her a year to leave her own abuser, all ending with the hashtag #WhyIStayed. He said he would change. I believed him. He lied. Gooden's posts sparking an avalanche of comments, because every time was the last time. Hashtag #WhyIStayed. And because I was pregnant and wanted my daughter to have a dad. Hashtag #WhyIStayed. The viral hashtag, and now the infamous tape, igniting a coast-to-coast conversation on the topic.
It is undoubtedly helpful as a society and as humans in general to have these conversations and offer a voice and support to victims of less popularized mental and physical harm. Ultimately, however, these discussions come and go with inconsistent frequency. If we wish to more completely describe social media's effects on mental health, it is important that we take a hard look at our daily social media communication. And let's face it, most of what we post is about ourselves. When we share our thoughts online, we filter our personalities such that our virtual representations are ideal and relevant. And I'm just as guilty of this as the next person. Take a look at these two images. The first image is posted to my social media feeds. presents a fairly typical representation of myself online, a relaxed New England boy who enjoys experiencing life outdoors. You'd think, judging from my posts on Instagram, that my life was all sun, fish, waves, snow, smiles, and the absence of stress from my life. You would be quite wrong, and you will never see a picture like the second one. A shot of me crankily writing a blog for my college writing class at my desk. Look at that blank stare. You can tell I've been looking at my screen too long and haven't showered in 2 days. Now, it's not surprising that people don't broadcast their rough, unpolished sides, but if it's only regular communication with most of the people in our lives is through frown-filtered environments, we cannot be faulted for thinking that the people around us are happier than we are. In this way, we are less than perfect in our own minds, and we are alienated by the perfection we create. Now, the pressures of perfection wrought on by social media undoubtedly plays a role in the lives of teenagers on a daily basis. A recent study from the Center for Collegiate Mental Health at Penn State suggests that anxiety and depression are the most common mental health diagnoses among college students. The New York Times took a look at the implications of this study and discovered horrifying, if not predictable, results. In the interview with the Times, Cornell University's Counseling and Psychological Services Director Gregory T. Ellis explained that overly perfect social media depictions of others bring about undue stress and depression among struggling students, even if they are at the top of their classes. He's keenly aware that, as he says, nobody is as happy or as grown up as they seem on the outside. To show you what this looks like on a personal level, I'd like you to consider the case of Madison Holleran, a young, passionate athlete at Penn State who was a happy and headstrong child before moving to college. Holleran was an avid Instagram user and appeared happy and successful to those outside of her classes. Behind her smartphone, her story was very different, as her family recounts.
Based on the pictures Madison was seeing online, her friends seemed to have found that balance, seemed to be enjoying college. Of course, when her friends looked at her pictures, they thought the same.
When I looked at her, she looked white. She looked depressed, and I said, Madison, I think you look depressed. And she was very quiet and said, Dad, all I want to do is go to sleep.
How much for you do you think it was setting in the space of college, and how much was it mental health?
Honestly, I think it was more of a mental health issue.
Madison had trouble asking for help. Her friends say she wanted things to be perfect, and even when they weren't, at least online, she could make it seem as if they were.
Sometimes people just only post the good parts, and like maybe those pictures really are happy moments for them, but what's missing is the in-between. Like there's holes that you don't see.
On the night of January 17th, 2014, just after dusk, Madison Holleran posted an Instagram from Rittenhouse Square, then walked to a parking garage at the corner of Spruce and 15th Street. She climbed the 9 flights of stairs to the top. Madison had bought gifts for her family. On top of the parking garage, she would leave those items, including a picture of herself as a kid holding a tennis racket. And after placing those items where authorities would find them, she jumped from the side of the building.
Madison died 2 years ago, in large part because of the feelings of isolation, alienation, and shame that stemmed from how she saw her friends online. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among college students. And while mental health issues can be caused by many factors, and the fact that they're so common and so prevalent in today's students is something that we don't seem to talk about enough. Now, shortly after Madison Holleran's death, her classmate, Catherine DeWitt, commented on her own blog about the suicide. She felt, in her words, that she should have died first because Madison had so much more to live for than her. When she herself prepared to commit suicide, her roommate thankfully found out and informed the administration. She was able to attend a hospital and receive the care and treatment she needed to recover. She now works for Active Minds, a nonprofit advocacy group for mental health. Listen to those advocates explain what they see as the problem and how they might be able to fix it.
You have to constantly be the best possible version of yourself, and anything less than that is like you're a failure, you're inadequate. At least that's what I was feeling.
You think that any problem that comes your way, you can solve it, and you don't need anyone's help. And sometimes life gives you challenges that you just can't solve by yourself.
The suicide number is just the very tip of the iceberg, and what you hope is that if you want to change that number, you've got to get much deeper into the problem and begin to change all of the things that are leading up to it. That's where Active Minds may have the greatest impact.
We have to give students the ability to thrive, both emotionally and academically, if we're going to graduate another generation who's going to make a difference in this world.
I know that technology and social media are here to stay. But as the activists and Active Minds describe, we both as members of the university community and as the online millennial community in general need to be better informed and more equipped to deal with mental illness challenges, both in ourselves and in those around us. As our technology brings about new stressors and opportunities for emotional alienation, we need, as a society, to be more educated about the causes of mental illness and prepare to help those in facing such challenges. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and go Orange.